Welcome to Peden Stadium, Athens, Ohio, home to the Bobcats, and fans have been pouring into the gates, and they are ready for this clash to get started. We've got a terrific matchup for you today, rich in pageantry and tradition, and it ought to be a fantastic clash. As we'll see a squad from the Mountain West, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, taking on a team from the MAC, the Ohio Bobcats. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. The Bobcats will kick it away to start us off. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. So Hawaii's offense will go on the attack first. A quick pass to the left. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Nice job by this defense creating that negative play. That's what all defenses want to do. But look at this. This offense, they ain't scared. Right back on the ball, ready to run another play, ready to make this defense work.
Hold.
They'll decline the penalty here and let the result of that play stand. You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. He's looking downfield to throw. Unleashes it. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the first down.
And that is a backbreaker if you're the defense, because you've done your job up to that point. You've set up the offense in 3rd and very long. You know they're going to throw it. You cannot allow a guy to get open that deep down the field for an explosive play. Somebody's going to have to answer for that when they get to the sidelines.
Defense gives up the pretty big run. They get the first down. And listen, you got to reload quick now, because this offense, they got their foot on the accelerator.
He's in open space downfield. They'll rip off 8 on that play. It's 2nd and 2. The Rainbow Warriors come to the line in the hurry-up.
I like this idea by the offense going hurry-up here. You just had a very nice run. Let's get back up to the line of scrimmage and go fast.
He's going to lose a yard on that one. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And the Rainbow Warriors are at the line trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. 3rd down play from the gun. Snagged out of the air. Now well within striking distance as that 3rd down play gets them a first at the 29. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Rainbow Warriors will snap it on 1st and 10. They're going to run it. Runs through the tackle. They make the stop, but he got work done on the ground, picking up 6 to the 23. Right back to the well. That is a big win for this defense, as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Off the bootleg to buy a little space. Makes the grab on the left. Picks up enough to give them 1st and 10 from the 11. And the Rainbow Warriors didn't start this drive with great field position, but they have moved methodically down the field. To the ground with the back. He'll be hauled down just inside the 10 at the 9 as they're trying to turn this into a score. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. 2nd down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Back to pass. Makes the catch. He's all the way down to the 2-yard line. Just spectacular execution there. He'll sneak it and try to surge forward. The sneak scores it.
And that is exactly what you love to see as a head coach, watching your offense take the field, first drive of the game, and you're methodical, and you take what the defense gives you. You make good decisions. You don't have negative plays. You don't have missed assignments. That shows your head coach that you are locked in and ready to go.
Getting set for the extra point after putting the scoreboard to work for the first time. And with the extra point, they get the first 7 of the game. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So the Ohio Bobcats offense has the ball for the first time. Leaves it with the back. Turning it on. He's at the 40. The 20. Past the 10. Slippery slide. Find his way and ran away from the crowd into the end zone. Touchdown, Bobcats.
This coaching staff was trying to identify playmakers on offense early this year. How about the start of the season this guy has had? Scored in their first game. He scored early in this one. Defenses up to this point don't have any answers for this guy.
Looking for the tie with the extra point. And they did tack on the extra point. That kind of drive will boost your confidence. One play, hit the big pass, put a touchdown on the board.
Number 17, set to kick this one away.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Hawaii has it back as they send the offense onto the field. Last drive went for 6. We'll see if they can do it again. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. The Rainbow Warriors want to pick up the tempo.
Well, the defense didn't have a lot of time to celebrate that last big play because here's the offense right away back at the line of scrimmage, ready to roll again with tempo.
They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground covered to pick up the first. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. They're working that left side. He'll have enough to move the chains. It's first down at the 38. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. It's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Use the play fake, now to throw. Gets rid of it. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Gonna look downfield again. The safe call on the wide receiver screen. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. He's got an open man. And he was off to the races. Finally tripped up at the 36. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. And the Rainbow Warriors have their offense in high gear. Wants to throw on 1st down. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. So now it's 2nd and long. They'll throw again after the incompletion. Fires to the big fella. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the 1st down. 8th play of the drive coming. It'll be a 3rd and 6. From the gun. Wants to pass. Makes the catch. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see which way that's going to go.
Hold it.
They say you could call holding on every play. Well, they did on that one. Quick pass to the left, trying to get it to the marker. They're going to stop him short, and man, we haven't seen a lot of that. This offense has been a machine on 3rd down. And he's got it from 57. What a beauty.
How nice is it as a head coach to have a kicker like this? It makes these decisions on fourth down so much easier. Just strut him out there and let him stroke it through the uprights.
From a couple of yards deep, he'll bring it out. The coverage team maintains his discipline, not much doing on that return. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Ohio U ready to go back to work on offense. We've had some early scores. They get the ball back, trailing by a field goal, 10-7. Quarterback on the keeper. Makes a man miss. And he's still running after the move. That may not look like a huge run, but they'll take it as it gets him up to the 24. He'll keep it himself. And he is brought down, but what a move he put on that first defender. Now on 1st and 10 from the 27. Use the play fake, now to throw. Just a short pass to the tight end. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line. He'll pull it on the read. How in the world did the offense retain possession? Well, they are breathing a sigh of relief after that recovered fumble. Gives it on the option. Got enough for the first down and wants more. And he's brought down after a nice gain. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Bobcats kept this drive moving on the ground, now back to work. Off the play fake. Unloads it left. Got his man downfield. They finally make the stop, and it's been this way this guy's whole career as a senior makes a play after the grab.
Well, you can see the effect that last run play had on the defense. They had a really good-looking run, and all of a sudden they come back with play action. Everybody bites. They play downhill, and it opens up a guy up top for the offense. Really nice job setting up that shot play to get an explosive one through the air.
Now the chance to pay off that big play from just outside the 5. From the gun. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. Defense rolls up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. The run up the middle trying to steamroll his way in. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Now 3rd and goal and tough yardage to cover here. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio! Quick strike through the air for the score.
I love finding the big fella down in the red zone, 3rd and goal. You got to make something happen down here. Throw it up high. Let the big fella make you look really good as a quarterback. Love finding those big guys down here in the red zone.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they're up 14-10. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Week in and week out, guys, you never know what's going to happen in college football. Check this out. Arizona State is currently ahead in this one inside a jam-packed Sun Devil Stadium, but despite the forks up right now, this one is tight. They are up by 7 over Toledo. We will be multitasking today, boys. One eye on that game, one eye on your game. Really the only way to do it.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. Hawaii ready to go back to work on offense. Neither team's wasted time putting points on the board. They've got it back, down 14-10. Found that space and picked up 6 out to the 33. The Rainbow Warriors in the hurry-up.
The offense has a little bit of success on the ground, and they're up. Look at them. They're ready to go again, back on the line of scrimmage, ready to run another play.
They make the stop, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's all about. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Single back formation, and they give it to him. This freshman makes the stop after a short gain. Ball's at the 29. Defense can taste getting off the field. It's 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. And he throws down the gut of the defense. It's incomplete. And the Rainbow Warriors will call on their punt team. First time we've seen their punt team tonight. Might have thought he'd want to try to pick up a few yards there, but he's content with making the fair catch right around the 35-yard line. They'll run the RPO and throw it right. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? They'll move the wide receiver. Quick pass on the fly motion. He's brought down, but he went backwards after that completion, not the way they had it drawn up. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. Makes a connection. Breaks into the open. The defense got caught that time, and they finally get him on the ground at the 41.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. The RPO, it's complete. And just a short, safe pass play, they pick up a few. And now on 2nd down for this offense. Looking to fire. Working that left side now. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. 3rd and short here from the 35. Might take a shot here if this is 4-down territory. From the gun, wants to pass. He lets one fly deep. Grabs it inside the 10. Gets out of bounds after the big play, and they'll be set up in business with a 1st and goal. The Bobcats are flying down the field. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Fires to the tight end. That completion takes them down to the 7-yard line, and they are ready to strike.
Brings up 2nd and goal.
They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. Finds his big tight end. Good throw and catch. Takes it down to the 5 as the offense tries to cash in.
It's now 3rd and goal.
Trying to get it done with the run here on 3rd and goal. He's not going to make it to the sticks, and what a stop against one of the best 3rd down offenses in the country. Absolutely perfect. They're up by a touchdown here in the 1st.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
So after the made field goal, they'll kick it away and rely on their defense. The returner's going to try to see what he can get. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. First snap of this drive will come from their own 17. The give. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
And this offense gets nothing done on that play, but look at them. They're continuing to run this tempo. They want to try to do something to get a spark going to create a big play.
The Rainbow Warriors headed quickly to the line. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Fires to the big fella. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Hold it.
So the penalty will not be enforced. The defense declines and stands on the result of the play. Makes the catch at the 35. He only needs a sliver of daylight. Bottled him up, not a whole lot of room to run on that return, and that's how this period will come to an end. We're through one, and what a back-and-forth battle between these two quarterbacks as we look at the stats. heading in the opposite directions now as we crank it up in the second. So they'll go back to work after changing into the field. He'll do it himself. And he has a solid gain before the defense bottoms him up. And the Bobcats with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. They'll run it from the gun. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Bobcats are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. They'll snap it from the gun on 3rd down. Tight end finds a soft spot. And you can see the offense just feeling itself. They've got it down to the 21.
Defenses throughout the week study every 3rd down situation. You've got to be ready for what they do, how they do it, and then be able to adjust. Great job by the offense so far having success.
And the Bobcats will have it 1st and 10. Leaves it with the running back. Fighting off the defender. He's stopped at the 14-yard line, and they'll stay on the attack from there. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. The give to the back. They went right back to him, and this time the defense was all over him. Nothing to show for that run. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Bobcats are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. Fires to the wideout. Touchdown, Bobcats! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house.
And I love the bounce back for this offense. We lost a week ago. Let's put that in the rearview mirror. That game's gone. Let's improve. Let's get better. So far in this first half, they've done just that.
Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. They're set to kick it off, and this crowd now ready to get behind them.
24, Hawaii, 10.
And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. The Hawaii offense returns to the field. Now we'll get a chance to see if they can answer that last score, trailing by 14, Jesse.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, I feel like offensively, you should go back to what's been working for you in this game. Don't be afraid to dial up plays that you've already had success with, running it and throwing it. It's okay to repeat plays down 14 at this point.
And I would also say, Palmer, kind of understanding that my defense is not playing great. So I know offensively I got to put some good possessions together here, make something happen on this side of the football.
On 3rd down, he drops to throw. Right on the money. They'll make the stop about a yard short of the 1st down. And the Rainbow Warriors decide to punt it away. They're able to put a stop to that return right at the 30-yard line. Offense making its way onto the field to start the drive. Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. Finds a man in the middle. And he's brought down after a nice gain. That's the way to start a drive, and now they'll try to follow up on 1st and 10. They'll run play action. Throws to the wideout. Just a Baryshnikov-like move on the sideline to tap that toe and get the 1st down. Big pickup before he goes out of bounds, but there is a flag. We'll have to see if it stands. We'll repeat the previous down, but this time the offense has 10 more yards it has to cover. Here's the snap, looking to throw. Quickly out to the tight end. And that corner came in hot despite knowing that he was giving up some size. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. Wide open downfield. Gets it all the way down to the 39-yard line. It'll be a 1st down. Last completion moved the sticks in. Let's see if they try it again. They'll go to the ground. Oh, he's got some space. They've got it inside the 30. They'll mark it at the 28. It's first down. They think they can create space here with a run to the right. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. Off play action. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. A little less room to work with now as the ball's at the 28 and it's 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Lets it fly. It's complete. Makes a grab over the defense, and they are threatening now down at the 15. They'll leave it with him. They get him down, but he was driving his way and gets it down to the 7-yard line. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. They'll go up top on 2nd and short. Works his way to the 4-yard line, and they'll have it 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Can the defense stop them again on 2nd and goal?
It's now 2nd and goal.
Wants to go up top. Trying to find the end zone. Give him 6. Touchdown, Ohio. Lining up to add another. The kick is up and good and put one more on the lead. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Dynamite matchup this week, fellas. Let's show you what's going down. Missouri is up big right now in what's shaping up to be a blowout they'll remember in Columbia for some time. They're up by 18 over Kansas. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere.
And you're seeing the offense now mix up the tempos. After a successful run, they're now going hurry up.
Now the play fake. A strike downfield. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. The Rainbow Warriors want to crank the tempo.
And as soon as the receiver caught the ball, you saw the quarterback start communicating to his teammates what the next play was going to be because they're now changing the tempo and going fast.
A stopping behind the line of scrimmage. He ran through one guy, but not through the rest. Power football with the run. And he never had a chance, just stopped cold as soon as he got it. On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. Shoots it to the left. It's caught downfield. They're ripping off chunks of yardage. They get it to the 33.
And listen, the defense knew coming into this one, they were going to target him early and often. He is a weapon, and there's no mystery where the quarterback's going to be looking on critical down and distances. Let's see how they're able to cover him throughout the rest of this game.
And the Rainbow Warriors have a lot of options on 2nd and inches. Back to pass. They're setting up the screen. Got some room, headed to the goal line. He stopped just short of the goal line at the 1. An explosive play has him set up. The execution on that screen pass is one that will go in a coaching clinic.
Nice execution on the screen. Allow the rush to come upfield. Now I release, get the ball to the running back. I got my playmaker in space. Nice chunk yardage play right there by the offense.
The Rainbow Warriors trying to pay off the threat on 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. On 2nd and goal, they go right back to it. Didn't get much done on that run. He'll fight his way out and maybe pick up a yard. On 3rd down, the Jets sweep as they try to move the chains.
Second quarter might not be gamble time, but inside the 3, Palmer, I've got the green light. I'm going for this.
I am too, and you're essentially running a 2-point play here, right? You've got a play you practice all week long. That's the play you dial up right here.
And it's swatted away. It's a turnover on downs. And the Bobcats are backed up. They can feel the shadow of their own goalpost and trying to create some room. And I think they'll mark him right at the line of scrimmage. Didn't help much with the breathing room, but on the upside, they avoided the safety. We're at the 2-minute timeout. They've built a big lead, and they'll try to pile on a little more before the break. The run from the shotgun. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. And guys, they're not going to give up on picking up the first down, but they also need some breathing room for the punter. There he goes. Got enough for the first. And gang tackling on this dude is a good idea. They needed it, but he still got the first down. The sure hands, it's Booker. Coming out, attacking from deep in their own end, and they're out at the 26 with the first down. The Bobcats come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Nowhere to go, and the ball is loose. He's got the ball, and he'll try to pick up a few.
Well, ball security doesn't just apply to running backs and receivers. QB's got to keep 2 hands on the ball as well, and they're very lucky after that fumble that the offense jumped on.
And the Bobcats now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Going to swing it on 2nd down. Looking to the big tight end. Makes the grab. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the first down. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Makes the catch. It's West. And the defense doesn't let him get loose, and that's going to wrap things up here in the half. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update.
Man, a lot of ways to describe those first 2 quarters in Athens, Ohio, but let's just go with notable. And how can we begin our analysis of that first half without singing the praises of one of the elite backs in football? Racking up huge numbers on the ground, even throwing the occasional block. This kid is the total package. And if this defense doesn't adjust his strategy, he could be headed towards a career day. And with that, let's send it back to our men at Payton Stadium.
And the Rainbow Warriors will kick it away to start the second half. On the run from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Ohio takes over. The Bobcat offense heads to the field, trying to set the tone on the ground in the second half. Finds a little bit of space, gets 3 to the 22. Second down, they'll go to the air. The quick out. He'll step out of bounds right at the 35-yard line, and maybe they've got something cooking. Off the play fake on 1st down. Just too much juice on that one as he airmails his receiver out of bounds. Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Trying play action. This time it's complete. They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a 1st down. And he drops it just a little too slippery in the hand. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. This is a designed run. This defensive front just ran free in the backfield. He'll lose 3. Even if they don't convert, picking up a few would give them a decision to make on 4th down. It's 3rd and long from the 45. Good timing on the quick out. Oh, he didn't get there, and what a stop against an offense that's been magnificent on 3rd down. The kick is on its way. Not going to take a chance to grab that one as it bounces out of bounds. Hawaii has it back as they send the offense onto the field. Off the play fake on 1st down to throw. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. The Rainbow Warriors racing to the line in the hurry-up. Wants to fire on 2nd down. Fakes the grab. Good, solid pickup on that one. They've got it out to the 40, and it's 1st down. Passing game kept this drive moving. Let's see if they try it again. Running back searching for a hole. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the 1st down line? Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on 2nd down.
A nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you got to be prepared.
Nice pickup there. Gets him the 1st down and sets him up at the 45-yard line. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. And the Rainbow Warriors look to keep this drive humming. Wide receiver comes in motion. To the air on 1st down. And the defense will corral the quarterback, and down he goes at midfield.
And the defense there goes zone coverage, maybe confused the quarterback a little bit, forced him to hold on to the football, and that allowed the pass rush to get home.
The Rainbow Warriors trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Back to pass on 2nd down. And the timing just a hair off. And this offense just has to find a way to convert this 3rd down, or else they are really in trouble. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. Unloads to the wideout. Lets it slip right through his hands, and it'll be 4th down after the rare drop from this dude. A fairly short distance here toward the sidelines, not his best work. The Ohio U offense returns to the field. They'll have another opportunity to extend this lead after punting last time, David.
And it's important to put that punt behind you. It's over. Let it go. Get back to what you were doing that built this lead.
Yeah, and defense, obviously, they won a few downs that last drive, so we got to put them on their heels here. Maybe mix up a few personnel groupings and try to show them some pictures they haven't seen yet.
And the defense stops him just short of the 1st down. Maybe needed a few more chain links to move the sticks. Tries to surge ahead on the sneak. He's brought down, but it'll be enough for a 1st down. The Bobcats come to the line with a new set of downs. Looking downfield on 1st down. Working the middle, it's complete. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. 2nd down coming up. The play action fake. Quickly to the tight end. Nice pickup there. Gets him the 1st down and sets him up at the 45-yard line. New set of downs after the completion. Off play action on 1st down. That's caught. It's Booker. They get it down to the 35 before he stopped. 10-yard pickup on the play, and it's a 1st down. It's complete to the left. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. They'll try the run. And they'll stop him just short of the 1st down, just inches away from moving the sticks. He'll sneak it.
And, David, on 3rd and inches right there, that's often a decision the quarterback predetermines. Who's my best guard? That's the guy I'm going to try to get behind.
And I know that defensively too, but I'm just trying to dive and create a pile, but it's so hard to stop that play. That's why you see it ran so successfully.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5.
Brings up 2nd down.
Quarterback on the keeper. Tough, determined run, gets it down to the 12. And the Bobcats back to the line on first down. Let's see if they keep leaning on this running game. The give to the tailback. They finally get a hold of him, knocking him down behind the line of scrimmage. He had been running wild. After the run, now to throw. Headed to the end zone. And he runs it in for the score. Touchdown, Bobcats.
And how about this offense? Another scoring drive. Great job. They seem to be in a much better rhythm than they were a week ago. They're 0-1, lost week 1. They could have got down on themselves. I like the way they bounced back. Now they're going to be 1-1 with this performance.
Getting set for the point after. And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Guys, let's take a look at what's happening in a great college football matchup. Arizona State is having its way offensively, just marching up and down the field at a breathtaking pace. They're up 14 over Toledo. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. And the Rainbow Warriors have their whole playbook open here on 2nd and inches. Sets up the screen. They'll make the stop, but not before they use the screen beautifully and pick up the first down.
He makes the tackle.
Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs.
And that's good enough.
Looking to throw on first down. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on first down. 2nd down coming. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Off the bootleg, wants to throw it. Gets it out quickly. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. Got his man. Makes that one pay off, and they finally get him down at the 38. It'll be first down. The Rainbow Warriors are moving quickly down the field. Give to the running back. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Looking to fire. He makes the grab. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. Shotgun snap, wants to throw it on 3rd. Got him downfield. He's brought down, but what a play for this offense, and they'll have it at the 12-yard line. And the Rainbow Warriors look to do some damage in the red zone. Just ran him over. And he's brought down, but a flag is also down. Holding penalties, the ultimate drive killer. We'll see if it costs this offense here. The give to the back. Got some room, headed to the goal line. And he'll step into the end zone. Touchdown, Warriors!
Man, we know football gets harder when you start to get in the red zone and the field shrinks. Who needs that? Break the long touchdown run. Nice job by the back. Seeing the hole, exploding through, getting a long touchdown.
PAT unit on the field. Smashes it through for the PAT. They go 83 yards on the drive. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. He'll start the return inside his 5. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. First play of the drive comes from the 22. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Just a little bit too much juice on that one as the freshman was taking a shot. Time for one more snap before the end of the quarter. Off the play fake. Under fire. Unleashes one. Pulls it in. They get him on the ground, and that'll be the final play of this third period. We've been treated to an aerial show by these two guys so far as you check out their numbers. One more quarter to play, and it might be unlikely, but hey, it's college football. Comebacks happen. They'll go back to work with a first down in the final period. Here's the handoff. This time he doesn't get loose, and finally the defense gets him bottled up behind the line. To the air on second down. The throw to the outside is complete. He snagged it, but he'll be stopped short of the first down. Good, solid pickup on that play. From the gun, he'll try to throw for it on third down. Nowhere to go with the ball, and down he goes at the 39.
All right, well, that QB knows he now has to get the ball out of his hands quick because that defensive end turned the corner fast.
The Bobcats will punt it away on fourth down. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. He's able to pick his way for just a bit, but he'll be stopped at the 18. Good job by the punt team. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Hawaii ready to go back to work on offense. They took advantage of outstanding field position the last time they had it, and now they'll have a little more work to do to get on the board. And a 9-yard gain on first down leaves them with second and short. The Rainbow Warriors moving quickly to the line.
And this offense is going to have to catch some breaks, man. They're going to have to make some big plays. They're going to have to push the ball down the field, break some tackles, hit some home runs, down 3 possessions in the fourth quarter. They're going to have to do everything right.
Takes it from the gun on third down. Got his man quickly. And with that effort, they pick up a fresh set of downs. They have it at the 34-yard line. These two guys, just on the same wavelength, they make clutch connections all the time.
And that's practice, man. That's all summer. That's all spring. Just so many hundreds and thousands of balls where you know exactly when that guy's going to break. You know he's a stud. You're going to feed him, especially on these third down situations.
I'll tell you, you cannot count this team out because of who's playing quarterback. When this guy's in the game, it's never over. Yeah, they're trailing here in the fourth quarter, but this dude can put up points quickly.
They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. They're trying to slow that rush down with the draw. Pass the sticks and still on his feet. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And the Rainbow Warriors have it with a 1st and 10. Look out, he's got room.
And the offense has a little bit of success, and what do? They push that turbo button right back on the line, ready to run another play.
Second down, he'll throw it. Quick strike complete. And he goes out of bounds after a nice pickup on that one. The Rainbow Warriors are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. Try to get it to the edge. He's not going to make it. What a job by this defense to stop him in his tracks. Down by multiple possessions. They can't come up empty on this drive in the fourth quarter. They'll go for it on 4th down. It's incomplete, and the defense makes a stop and gets the football back. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They've got the big fellas out there, a 3 tight end look on 1st and 10. They go to the ground. You'll take 4 yards on first down every time, 2nd and 6.
At the 40-yard line. Brings up 2nd down.
They'll run play action. Fires one high and deep. And this is dropped. Incomplete pass. He had a huge gain in his fingers, and he couldn't hold on. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. This time it's complete. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Caught over the middle. It's Booker. Just what they were looking for, and he's got him set up in business at the 35 with a first down. They'll keep it on the ground. Productive 4-yard gain there on the ground as he gets it down to the 31. Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Direct snap. Not a whole lot of room as he gets a couple inside the 30 to the 29. And the Bobcats come to the line on 3rd and short, looking to keep this drive moving. He'll keep it himself. Tough sledding in there. Picks up a couple, but still needs 2 more on 4th down.
That's got to hurt if you're the offense, because you're thinking with this quarterback and his size and his athleticism, that's going to be an easy first down pickup on the option play. But how about the physicality up front by this defense, stuffing him at the line of scrimmage?
Splits the uprights. Good. And that will extend their lead even further.
And that's not the way they wanted to end the drive, but nice job being ready and your field goal kicker coming through and putting 3 points on the board.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Hawaii offense returns to the field. They've got it back after that last drive stalled out, and they were stopped on 4th down, David.
Yeah, and they put a little bit of a drive together, but Jesse, they stalled on the others.
There he goes! And he was off to the races, and he gets it to the 45.
Hey, down in the 4th quarter, you better have a dude at the quarterback spot. They do, and they're going to trust him, and he's going to have to continue to deliver like this, making plays down the field, protecting the football, but we know he has the ability.
Looking to throw on first down, and this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. They'll give it to the back. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. They've got to come up with a big play on this 3rd and long. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. Pressure coming. Trying to escape and get it himself. They'll pick up enough yardage for the first down. They've got it at the 30. And the Rainbow Warriors are moving quickly down the field. To the ground with the back. Picks up the first down, still moving. And he's brought down after a nice gain. They're in the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 20. They've marched to the red zone, and here they go. He's got the tight end. The ball is down at the 14 after that grab. Look, you can't take away everything, right? So you give them that and rally and make a solid tackle.
Yeah, and a lot of times in zone coverage, I like when I can get all the eyes on the quarterback. I like when I can see the routes and see him develop in the middle. And you could tell they had keys on the tight end. He wasn't going anywhere after he caught that football.
The Rainbow Warriors will try to punch it in on 1st and goal. Looking for the goal line. They've got it down to the 3-yard line. Really well done on that throw and catch. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They've got it down to the 3. Now it's 2nd and goal. They're going to run it. Touchdown, Hawaii! And they take it in for 6 more points. Follow the blockers. The offensive line will take you to the hallelujah land.
And I tell you what, most of the time, Reese, it requires a little bit of skill to find that hole and, slither through a little crack. That was not a crack. That was wide open. Didn't take a lot of vision because the blocking was outstanding.
From the gun. And the ball comes out. What a disastrous play. Sometimes the ball just bounces your way, and the offense very lucky to keep possession on that one. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Cool as a cucumber as the hands team makes a sure catch. Ohio U ready to go back to work on offense. Guys, that last trip a little disappointing having to take the 3.
Yeah, I think, Jesse, you see so many offenses talk about getting yards and the tempo and all the stuff they do. It was a nice job moving the football, but they got to get in the end zone this time.
Yeah, and I think to do that, they just got to be more physical at the point of attack, get some push up front. They need to be the best running team in this game to win.
After the second down misfire, looking at a 3rd and 8. Leaves it with the back. He gets it down to the 28-yard line. Not enough to move the sticks, and now we'll see what they do on 4th. And this field goal team has been busy. This kicker comes out for the 3rd time tonight. It's good, and that was dead solid perfect. And now the lead is extended a little further. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And he's coming out of the end zone. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Hawaii has it back as they send the offense onto the field. They'll start this drive with a pass. Makes the grab. And they pick up just a few on that completion. And the Rainbow Warriors are in the hurry-up.
It's always interesting how people handle late game. Like, you know this game is over. There's not a lot to gain from it, but some people try to throw the ball deep and continue to make plays. They throw it short. The clock's running out, and there's not a lot to talk about that's going to be positive for this offense.
It's 1st and 10 for this offense from the 42.
And this defense has really done a good job containing this superstar quarterback. But now it's a big-time moment. In the 4th quarter, you know the ball's going to be in his hands. Got to get to him. Got to ruffle his feathers, hit him a few times, make him feel uncomfortable.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. And that pass will be jarred loose on 2nd down. That brings up 3rd down. Trying to pick up a 1st down. A little screen to the running back. And that did not work. Defense smelled that one out from the beginning. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Makes the catch, converts on 4th down, is still on his feet. Touchdown, Hawaii! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house.
Man, that's a play this kid has been running ever since he was 7 years old at the park with his best friend, throwing him go routes right down the field. I'm running by a guy, I'm looking back, locating the football, making the catch, and he does it in a big moment here in this game.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And it's up and good. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
A lot of eyeballs on your game, guys, and a few on this interesting matchup as well. East Carolina is running away with things, and I'm not sure anyone inside that program saw this coming today. They're up by 24 over Old Dominion. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about it.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. On the ground, trying to pull the plug on this clock. Dragged down, but they'll move the sticks for a 1st down.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
He'll pull it on the read. Gets it past the marker. And he found plenty of running room on that one before the defense was finally able to get him down. Wide receiver going in motion. Quarterback flips it ahead quickly to the receiver. They pick up half of it. It'll be 2nd and 5. Defense looks as if it's coming. Going to work on second down in the red zone. Is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. Handoff from the shotgun. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Ohio!
Well, obviously this team didn't get the start they wanted to on the year, coming into this one 0-1, but a great job there getting that drive, putting 6 up on the board. They've got a comfortable lead. They wanted to turn the page and start to build momentum. This is a massive win for this program.
Lining up for the PAT. And the extra point splits the uprights, and they're up a full 3 touchdowns, a 21-point cushion in the fourth.
Ohio 51, Hawaii 30.
Here he comes with the return. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. So they start this drive from inside their own 20 at the 19-yard line. Use the play fake, now to throw. Finds his tight end. Makes the grab, but not quite enough for the first down, but a good gain on that play. They'll go to work in the air on second down. Fires to the tight end. And he'll move his way forward to the first down. They'll mark it at the 35. Everybody has to be set. They have to get it off.
Good enough for a first down.
Wants to throw on first down. Fires left. Got the tight end outside. Across midfield and out of bounds at the 49. A big pickup there.
At the 49. And that's
looking for room. It's Bryant. You'll take this every time. 5 yards on the first down play. The Rainbow Warriors want to move quickly. Second down, they'll go to the air. Catch in the middle. It's Tolzien. Good execution. They move the sticks, and they've got it at the 33. And they spike it and get the clock stopped. They're dealing with a second and long.
No gain on the play. Second down coming up.
The give out of the gun. Maybe a 3-yard pickup there. Third and long coming up. Trying to pick up a first down. Third and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Going for it all. It is incomplete, and he almost had himself an interception in the end zone. It'll be fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Converts on fourth down. Still going. They'll use a timeout with 26 seconds left on the clock. And the Rainbow Warriors will line it up on first and 10. From the red zone, he's going to throw it. Lets it fly. And makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown, Rainbow Warriors.
And a nice touchdown, continuing to fight, continuing to play. This one, it's pretty much over. Down multiple possessions this late in the football game. It would take a miracle, but nice job by this offense continuing to fight, push the ball down the field, make plays.
He'll try to tack on one more.
For the extra point.
Right down the boulevard. So it's an 80-yard drive. Time is against them, still down by 2 scores, but they'll line up for the onside kick. They'd hope to get that thing bouncing around, but the hands team is able to corral it. Their work here is virtually done. No need to take any more chances. They'll line up in victory formation. This one was a lot like a tennis match, back and forth, up and down, and they just couldn't quite score enough and get the key stop to get the win.
And defenses have changed, right? It's not about limiting to low points anymore, but you got to find ways to create turnovers and get that ball back to your offense so they can do their damage. Defense just needed to create a few more opportunities.
I think it just came down to individual effort on the defensive side of the football for this team. Somebody needs to step up in big moments in big games and make the play to win. We didn't see it happen today.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.